the Caribbean. And it's all because of stinking oppression. Repressive education for a chosen few. So many brothers on the corner, cause no school to go, no work to do, crying sin kicks, the crying Nevis, in Antigua, in Dominica, oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone.
Shut alive, shut alive.
Colonialism went, oh that I know. But oppression never ever let we go. They granted independence few by few, but oppressors never ever left them to. With his imperialistic game plan, he monopolized the land. Now the people of the Caribbean ain't got much food, ain't got much land. The crying Binsha, Erie back in Grenada, in Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone.
Shut alive, shut alive.
The thing that hurt me most about oppression is the involvement of we politicians. You both, brother, to help fight oppression. Brother, get in there and join the bandwagon. You oppose the ruling party, you become an enemy, and you could swear to Jah Almighty. That's your destiny, your destiny. The crying Nasa in Bermuda, in Aruba, Martinique, St. Lucia, oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone. Oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone. Oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone. Leave we alone. Come off the bone. Right. Oppressors. 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 Oppressors.
Yes, that's the song Oppression by the man Beckett. And as we are aware, the oppression continues there in our beautiful Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, but more so over there in the sister island of Queen City, Nevis. And that oppression, only we, the people, can make that change. Huh? I'm DJ Morrishaw, and I'm coming to you live and direct from the Gaza here in the Boogie Down Bronx, New York. We are in spring. The season of spring started. The temperature is encouraging, but as you know, it's still a roller coaster. Still an opportunity for us to see the boy winter back. Some snow, some sleet, and all that good stuff. So don't put away your coats as yet. You know, this evening we're going to be blasting from the past, bringing up some clips from the recently concluded electoral campaign there in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. It appears as though that some of our people forgot what we had for the last 7 years and forgot the drive we had to get back our democracy and the get rid of them campaign that we basically had to launch to get where we are. Some people seems to have convenient amnesia. So we're gonna get into that conversation this evening. But before I get into that conversation, I got a bus to track here for my boy, brother Livingston X-Man Harris there in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, who will be participating in the upcoming carnival this season. You know, one of them, he said, Governor, you change. And there's one he's speaking about, no, Governor, you change is Mighty Pat. X-Man is speaking about his mother went to the bank and the bank asked her for her mail in a dress. So he went home and put on his mother's dress and come back and say, here is the mailing address. I don't know where these calypsonians come up with these lyrics, but you're gonna hear it for yourself. Check it out. There's another one he's speaking about his foul cock. And his foul cock, somebody must have steal it and he asked them to bring it back. So I got to see if I find my boy, brother X-Man, to find out if his foul cock return as yet. Because I know they say cock soup is good, you know. We used to have some lovely cock soup there back in St. Kitts back in the days. So just before we get into the chit chatter, as a matter of fact, I received a couple of phone calls earlier this afternoon asking me if I'm listening to EK and Freedom FM with the issues. I told them no, I was actually trying to get a little rest up to come and do my thing this evening. So they asked me to check out the program there with EK before I go live, and they would like me to address it this evening. I mean, the honest truth is there's not much to address about whatever the topic was the folks are speaking about in regards to the AG, but I am one who love to fulfill the request of my online viewership, so I will address it shortly, early o'clock, so that it does not get caught up in the rest of the programming this evening. I thought after the AG came on this program some weeks back and present himself and play the ear, I thought that should have been the end of that saga, but I guess some people just love to continue with the mess. I always hear the saying to ignore these folks because they talk for 9 days, and when they finish 9 days, it's done. But this AG matter, I guess, the patch up fella there, he's shaking in his boots because he might get caught up in the ongoing investigation. So they are trying to cloud the judgment of our citizens. But I'm asking you, the citizens of St. Kitts Nevis at home and abroad, to please be patient with the investigations that are ongoing. Every one of them, whether they might be in St. Kitts Queen City Nevis. Every one of them who was a part of that patch up, construct, concussion, team unity administration, every one of them, all of those missing monies, all of those mishandling of projects and how money went on, who not thief money from second cruise pier, who not thief money from development bank, and who not get money from Blue Building and Wellington Road, and who not get building from Solar Farm, and all of this stuff gonna come to light. So no amount of noise going to detract the AG from what he's doing. But before I get into that good conversation this afternoon, I just want to drop these two tracks real quick from the man, Livingston X-Man Harris, sorry, one of our superb, talented cricketers there. So take a listen to this one. This one is called Mailing Address, coming from X-Man for St. Thomas Virgin Islands Carnival 2023.
Yeah, man. Spadix, I'm the X-Man again. Then borrows me in the bank, man. Nairobi. I went to a bank with my dear mother. I'm telling all you frank the problems I encounter. Customer service told her she needs a mailing address for them to help her with any business. So I rush out the bank real quick, went and put on my mother's dress, went back to the bank and the mailing address. Oh yes, I say look me, I'm the mailing address. See me, you ask my mother for. Look me, I'm the mailing address. The mailing address you ask my mother for. See me,
Livingston X-Man Harris, mailing address.
Trevor, help out the banner, no man, Trevor. Hey, feelings. My mother was shocked when she see her son dressed up in her frock, looking so handsome. Customer service start to laugh, call me a real big fat young man, you are a comedian. So I asked them what is wrong, why am I a comedian? I'm the mailing address you asked my mother for. Oh yes, I say look me, I'm the mailing address. See me, you ask my mother for. Look me, I'm the mailing address. The mailing address you ask my mother for. See me, whoa.
Livingston X-Man Harris.
Oh, sono. Thank you, sono, for letting me know.
The mailing
A mailing address does not mean a man in a dress. Thank you, man. Hey. All you look me cross, they call me a fat for putting on that dress as the mailing address. Customer service make me shame by calling me such name. I'm not to be blamed, man. My people, help me out, please. I need your opinion. Do all you think that X-Man is wrong? Tell me. I say, look me, I'm the mailing address. See me, you ask my mother for. Look me, I'm the mailing address. The mailing address you ask my mother for. See me, look me, I'm the mailing address. See me, you ask my mother for. Look me, I'm the mailing address. The mailing address you ask my mother for. See me, hey.
Creativity at this
Yeah,
time.
man. Hey, DJ Morrishaw, you want to couldn't tell me, man. A mailing address does not mean a man in a
That's the man X-Man out of Molyneux St. Kitts there, coming to you live and direct from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. That one is called Mailing Address. And you hear how nice that music is? That arrangement, that music was done by none other than one of our own there, out of St. Kitts, Nevis. The man Kenrick Williams, brother of Wingrove Williams of the Grandmasters Band. This guy is so talented. This man is just a genius when it comes to arranging music and jamming those stuff. So X-Man said he did not know the bank teller wanted to see his mother mailing address, not a mailing address. I do not know how these calypsonians come up with these lyrics, but they're very creative. The next track, this one is talking about his foul cock. I wonder if it's Dwyer foul cock he's talking about, you know, because Dwyer have a whole bunch of foul cock in the backyard there. I have to get one when I go home to cook some foul soup. So take a listen to this one, talking about his foul cock.
Yeah, man. Spot X. I'm the X-Man again. From the time I born, man, I get a little foul cock as me company. And now it come big. Diana holding on to it like it belongs to she, man. Hi. From the time I born, I get a foul cock. Tiny, tiny, tiny and black. And all that I did for my rooster, he'll even never come back. I say never come back. Now I started to investigate. I went down by me neighbor gate. My neighbor named Diana, she get a little cat for summer. Still she have me roots and she backyard holding hard, hard, hard. Hear me, Diana, don't hold me rooster so hard. Diana, I know it's in your yard. Girl, you get a little cat, play with that. Leave my rooster alone. Let the foul cock come back home. Come back home. Yeah, man. Hey, Trevor, Diana tell me she know you well. And you tell her what to do if the rooster come in she yard, man. Trevor, what you tell Diana? Hey! So I decided to ask Diana what Trevor told her to do my rooster. But she did not even respond to me. Man, I felt so guilty. I say I felt so guilty. Now I don't really know what to do. I really, really felt bad for true. Man, Trevor is me partner. He's like my younger brother. But I want to know what he tell Diana to do my rooster. Hear me, Diana, don't hold me rooster so hard. Diana, I know it's in your yard. Girl, you get a little cat, play with that. Leave my rooster alone. Let the foul cock come back home. Come back home. Yeah, man. Hey, listen, Diana. Regardless of what Trevor tell you, let me tell you something. Be careful you kill my rooster, man, because I can't get another one. That's the original. They don't sell them, Diana. Hey! The rooster make a motion to fly away. Diana squeeze it tight to make it stay. She then put the rooster on her lap. I asked Diana, what's that? I say, Diana, what's that? From that day on, Diana wouldn't stop rubbing down my rooster favorite spot. When she rubbed me rooster head, my rooster comb turned red. I'm so glad it wasn't dead. On my knees I start to beg. Hear me, Diana, don't hold me rooster so hard. Diana, I know it's in your yard. Girl, you get a little cat, play with that. Leave my rooster alone. Let the foul cock come back home. Come back home. Yeah, man. Hey, Farky, you Elvis, Brian Godfrey and Delbert. Tell Diana, man, let me rooster come back home, man. Diana, please, please, let me rooster come back home.
Yes, man. I don't know why people like to hold on to people rooster and not giving it back to them or whatever. If you want to rooster, tread the fowl or whatever the case might be, at least when you don't tread your fowl, release the rooster, man. Don't hold on to it. Don't have X-Man crying down the place looking for little fowl cock like that. You know, got to be able to return stuff when you borrow it, man. You cannot just hold on to it all the time. I want to say good evening to some folks here online. My brother there, brother Thaddeus there, so how are you doing? Michelle Liebert, how are you doing? Good evening. Marissa, Saran, how are you doing? My cousin there, brother Jefferson Harris, how are you doing, my brother? Everything good? Livingston Brown, how are you doing? Everything good? How about brother Elvan Ellie, brother Ivor Henry, Gemini Nicholas, how are you doing? Everything good with you? Gemini Nisbet, everything all right? How about Ruby Walters, my sister, dear sister Cicely Brown, Pastor Brown, how are you doing? Shelly Tobias, good evening, how are you doing? How about Celine Tobias, the man Carlton Tobias? Monica Brown, how about Justin Hazel, brother Jeff Pemberton, how are you doing? Romella Jeffers, how are you doing? Visha, how are you doing? Beverly Marisha, good evening. Sister Hazel Claxton, how about my girl, dear sister Naomi Ward Batcher? I want to big up my boy, the man Lord Kent, celebrate his big birthday there over the weekend. He's definitely now in the senior group, you know. Sister Debbie, don't forget to hold his hand and walk him around the place. I don't want him to get knocked down in Manhattan. I want to big up the man Elman Harley, Sister Paulette Harley. How about brother Sam Francis? Sister Sarah Francis, how you doing? Sister Gwyneth Morrishaw, how you doing? My mascot there, Dorothy Allen, my baby girl. My son there, JefroyMorrishaw in the LA area there. Sister Jacet, how you doing? Yvonne Jeffords, how you doing? Rhonda Brown. Sister Pauline Francis, De Francis, there in the Capital State area. I big up my boy, brother Eustace Hendrickson over there in the Houston area. Lucinda Clark, how you doing? Linda Clark, how you doing? Everything good with you guys? Well, we're going to start off beating on some stuff here, you know, because as I said earlier in my opening remarks, is that it appears as though that some of us seems to forget where we're coming from with the last 7 years of beating and knockabout from the former Hogg and his administration. And some people seems to forget that it was a tri-party, you know. It was a tri-party. The PLP, led by the former Hogg, you know, Timothy Harris. Also, the People's Action Movement, PAM, led by Sean Richards. And the Concerned Citizens Movement, there's CCM, led by Baby Brantley. All three of them is to mash up the country for 7 years. Destroy the country. During COVID, do all kind of manner of evil to people. And folks seems to be acting like when we say get rid of them, we say get rid of some of them. That ain't what the song saying. That was not this chorus we sing, you know. The chorus was get rid of them. And I remember Big Lice, the man Duncan Watley, the man there, Sam Conda, Dwyer Astafan, Vaughan, Larry Vaughan, all of us was singing the refrain, get rid of all of them. Douglas Watley, Duncan Watley, all the Watleys them. But it seems as though that some people is quite satisfied with the status quo. Morrishaw ain't happy with that, you know. You have to follow what the Bible says. When your hand offend you, take it off. If you leave it, you're going to come back to offend you again. My good people, pay attention to what's going on there in Nevis. The money is not still unaccounted for the hospital there wing. It started in 2017. Should have been completed in 24 months. 24 months from 2017 would have put you in 2019. We're hearing all kind of rigmajig about COVID in 2020. That is unacceptable. We're hearing about the difference between 14 million spent and 8 million spent. And the person that is responsible for finance wants to do his own investigation and come back and give you the correct number. Well, if in 2021, you confirm that 14 million was the correct number as per your junior minister, you come back in 2023, now you're telling us your new junior minister is saying it's only 8 million something spent, and your clapper, you had your receipts and stuff. And now you're telling us that's a wrong number as well. I keep sending messages to Sister Hazel Brandy Williams. I'm not going to stop sending messages until she reaches out to me, because Baby Brantley said that your figures are wrong. And you was to me very confident in what you receive from your finance department and your manager of the project. So we need to hear from you. We, the citizens, need to hear from you. I don't want to have to go through the Freedom of Information Act to get you. But if that is what I have to do, I will just have to go that route. But I prefer you come willingly. Let's have a conversation about that financial report during the budget address. Let's have a conversation about that clip. You spoke about all of the mishandling of projects and finances and stuff back in December of last year. Listen to that clip. You say you are about Nevis first. You care about Nevis, and Nevis is your first priority. So if that is the case, come on, let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. You don't have to take the boat across the shark-infested water, as they would say. Just jump on your device and let's have the conversation right here. Like I said, we're going to start off early o'clock with the AG's presentation that he chose to speak about the issue of the Social Security payments that was a hot topic some weeks ago. And that topic should have been dead by now. But while getting my beauty nap to come here and look pretty for you guys this evening, I received a couple of phone calls asking me if I'm listening to Freedom FM. I told them no. They said, well, you need to listen to Freedom FM. EK is on, and people calling in about Garth Wilkin, the AG, and what the Social Security going to do to him. They should take him to court for the money. And I want to know, people in St. Kitts, is the patch up fella correct that you all don't have no common sense? 90% of you all don't have no common sense. Is that a fact you all trying to prove? We had this conversation, we exhausted it to the fullest a couple of weeks ago. Social Security is in the business of collecting money, not taking people to court. And if someone owes Social Security and they voluntarily go in and pay up their monies and they're up to date, that's the end of the matter. There's nothing to go to court over. The bill is paid up and it's done. We move on. And if for some reason Social Security take you to court and you pay up your funds and clear up whatever, the case is done. It becomes a problem when you are refusing to pay up what you owe. And there's a discrepancy. That is when it becomes a problem. Not once the matter is resolved. And these people, I said before, who are calling on these radio programs, I cannot tell these radio programs, whoever monitoring them or who is the host, to hang up on people, But I believe these hosts should have enough information by now to say, listen, that matter is mute, that matter is resolved. There is nothing going to come of that. Let's move on. That's what these hosts should be doing instead of entertaining the nonsense, If you guys looking for ratings, that is not the best way to get ratings. Ratings when you bring the facts, bring the facts as they are. Get ratings from that, not stirring up a mess, So it forced me this evening because a couple of online listeners to this program called me and asked me if I can speak on the matter and can I bring back the AG's response to the situation. Again, a couple of weeks ago when the AG was here, I stayed away from this conversation. And the AG volunteered to deal with the matter, and that will be the end of it. That is what he said to me. So, in an effort to satisfy the online viewership or the folks out there who might still have some kind of reservation. The matter is dead. The AG admitted, as you will hear in this clip, that he was behind in paying up the social. He accepted responsibility. He took care of it to the point where he's even paying in advance. Right? So listen to the AG for yourself. Don't just listen to Morrishaw. You guys know when I come here, I come with my receipts. I'm not like them people in Nevis, the Blue Machine, them gang over there, the CCM gang who come with all kind of misleading information that they don't check. They say they just come and say things. They don't check for themselves. Well, I check for myself. So this is my receipts for this afternoon, coming to you courtesy of the AG, the man God Wilkin. Stand by. You cannot stop people from speaking. I have always heard people say to me, Morrishaw ignore people because they're going to talk for 9 days and they're done. But they've been talking for 6 months about you and they ain't done yet.
Boy, I don't know why.
You
Up
know?
to now, I don't know why.
So, I mean, I know why. I mean, I think you know why, but you don't want to accept the fact that you have a job to do. And since you are the messenger for the government, the office you hold, there are some people that maybe touch up in the time, when the time is right, at the end of these investigations, and they're trying to sidetrack you. I was listening to the Prime Minister then at the final last week, the 22nd, while he was speaking, the farmer hog was cutting him off and whatever, and I heard the Prime Minister say, "You're not going to distract me from what I'm saying, I'm going to finish what I'm saying." They're trying to distract you. They are hoping that whatever they throw at you, you forget what your job is. And I am happy that you are staying focused. As a matter of fact, at some point this evening, I will be playing Dwyer's commentary for today. And basically, I think he gave a synopsis and breakdown about some of the things they're attacking you about, which is unfair. Because had it been anyone else, and not just had it been anyone else, we know of many people who has been in situations where they don't do things on time and they catch up and it's done. But no, not once you carry the name God Wilkin, you're not supposed to be afforded that opportunity, just as JefroyMorrishaw. No, he should not be afforded that opportunity because he's JefroyMorrishaw, but other people can. But
Can I just talk about that for a little second?
sure.
Yeah, because I have been so focused on the safe passage of the Anti-Corruption Act, the Integrity in Public Life Amendment Act, and the Freedom of Information Act, that that was my professional priority. So with all of this noise that was happening, I really didn't address this issue. And I want to address it, if you will allow me to. You know, I am a registered employee of one domestic employee, right? And I take full responsibility for payment of Social Security contributions in batches and not always on time. But one thing I would tell you, I voluntarily paid all of my Social Security contributions, right? Everyone should pay them on time. I encourage people to pay them on time. And now I pay them in advance, right? And I encourage people either to pay them on time or pay them in advance, right? There was a personal administrative inefficiency that led to the delayed payments. And when I realized, I paid them voluntarily, right? So if there's anything to learn from this situation, right, is pay your Social Security contribution on time or in advance, right? But, you know, this matter was never about late payments, Mr. Morrishaw. On January 7th, 2023, after I made all of my payments, right, at different times, they started these rumors on WhatsApp and on Facebook pages accusing me of all manners of evil. They were so motivated by malice that they created a post with a photograph of a woman I've never seen and said, "That is my domestic employee," and attributed a quote to her. You know, I mean, this is how dirty it was, right? And you know, certain things were said before then, certain things were said after then. I was told to ignore them. But this one, it actually reached to people in the region. And I was advised, listen, you have to bring suit because this is going beyond the typical politics. And that's why I brought suit. But then after all of these things started happening and they doubled down and so forth, after a lot of prayer and deep introspection and discussions with my legal team, even against their advice, they said, listen, you have a very strong defamation case. I said, listen, there are 4 reasons, right, why I can't proceed with this case. 1, the emotional trauma to my family. Let me tell you something, Mr. Morrishaw. On February 4th, a regular caller to one of the talk shows of one of the political operatives actually came to my home when I was not there. My home, demanded to talk to me. When my wife told him I was not home, he demanded to know where I was. When she told him she would not disclose where I was, he proceeded to curse my wife, carry on an aggressive matter, frighten my wife, frighten my young daughter who was present, and it was reported to the police. Litigation is emotionally draining, time-consuming. I have so many national matters of importance to address that fall within the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs and the office. We are trying to really change this federation for the better. If I have to sue every political operative that defames me, I will spend my entire time in office doing that and be distracted, as you had said, right? They will not stop. They will not stop attacking all of us because we're going to continue to do good. And that seems to be their response to us doing good, right? So I've decided that I'm going to leave these depraved political operatives to their own devices. The third reason, the fake profile pages. I know you know some of them, right? Some of them are disgusting. And some of the worst ones were removed because Facebook finally realized that they were breaching their community standards. I realized some of them pop up, they change their names and they don't have they don't have the friends and the viewership that they used to have. So they comment under certain pages. But Facebook is onto them and they're gonna deal with them, right? So the ones that originally defamed me are no longer there, right? And the last thing is, listen, my domestic employee, the lady who takes care of my children, is like family. She's healthy, happy, well paid. We just came from sports all together. This is a woman who lives with me, right? Who I care for. She cares for my kids. She takes care of my kids so well. And she's been brought into this nastiness. Attack me. I'm the one that chose to take a political office. Criticize what I do. Criticize how I do it. Criticize the laws, but don't attack my family. And that is what they've been doing. It's a really nasty game, Mr. Morrishaw, right? And I expect criticism because I'm a public official, right? But keep it at a certain level. Don't go down, don't have people come into my home and threatening my family members. You know what I mean? I'm a human being and I expect criticism. That's not a problem. I expect public debate. I don't have a problem issue people discussing these things, but keep it out of the family space, right? So right now I'm at peace with my decision. I have moved on. I'm not going to address this again because I have too much hard work to do, right? And I have to choose my battles. It's a tough job, but it's a job I chose to do, right? And my role is to help shaping the sustainable island state by eradicating corruption from our society. It's not a personal role for me. It is a role that focuses on country above self, right? And the implementation of the first elements of the good governance legislative agenda is the first step, right? I mean, that should be, Mr. Morrishaw, that the good governance agenda should be celebrated across the political divide. There shouldn't be any politics in it. All of us should be happy that it's coming. All of us should say, listen, good, it's coming. We're operating under different rules. Let's try to convince the people, whichever party, convince the people that they're the best person to run the country, right? So this old school, petty, nasty politics is just so unfortunate, but it's alive and well in our federation. And I'm a victim of it, right? And I really, it deeply hurts because it's my family they're attacking. As I said, attack me. Leave the innocent people out of it. And they're doing it. Look, I don't know if you realized, I'm sure even though you live in New York, you get all the WhatsApps. You saw how much foolishness went out on last week, Wednesday, the morning of the debate.
Yeah.
Just to distraction tactics.
Yeah.
You know, why are we as a people like that?
And I get the call all the time. I told them I'm not a paid advisor. Why are they calling me about it?
You know, I mean, why we can't be mature about the way we do our politics? You know, why, you know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I'd be glad to listen to what Dwyer's point of view is, because sometimes Dwyer has some great insight. Sometimes he says things I don't agree with, but you know, it'll be good to hear what his viewpoint is. But I mean, my position is, I'm done with that. Right? I'm not going to allow them to distract me. They clearly are trying. I mean, they even call for me to resign. You know, many people, just today, a guy, I used to play cricket, youth cricket for St. Kitts. My opening batsman, I saw him today. And I hailed him up when I was driving to work. And he came by the window. He said, God, listen, don't study them. They're going after you because you're doing good work.
Yeah.
That felt good. Right? I guess maybe if they don't ask you to resign, you ain't doing a good work. Maybe. But you know, it's just so unfortunate. And you know, they're portraying me to be some criminal, some evil criminal. You know, it just, boy, I can tell you it deeply hurt. But I have the full support of my team, and I have full support of my family, who is first priority for me. And I will continue to try and do the best, because it's not for me, it's for my country. This is my public service time of my life. And it truly is country above self in my.
And that is where it's at. You know, we got to give respect and credit to the AG for taking the responsibility at this time, as was asked by the new Labour administration, to get some of these good governance agenda in place, since it was promised by the former administration and it was not delivered. So I am hoping that you folks who might be out there in the general public, who are listening to these nonsense and these radio programs or these talk show or social media, the matter is a closed matter. Social Security did not take the AG or Garth Wilkin, as it may be, to court for any unpaid contributions. Whatever outstanding monies the gentleman might have owed, he voluntarily went and deal with it. So this matter about Social Security have to take him to court, all of that is nonsense. The matter has been resolved. This is not about politics for me, because I have done my due diligence and check out the situation. And it's a common practice where people are late on their payments, and once Social Security come in and you pay it up, it's done. The court matter comes in when you're fighting the situation. But the things that bothers my mind, like I said, I'm going to play a clip in a bit, and you will hear the farmer hog boasting about a representative that will do a great job in the Sandy Point area, who's running against Sean Richards and Kenny Douglas. This person, according to court records, owed Social Security in excess of $300,000 for contribution for his employees. We didn't hear anything about resign. We didn't hear anything about this person is not qualified to run for office. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, you know, in those patch-up party, the Team Unity Construct, it seemed like criminality was a norm for them, you know. As long as you're a criminal, I have criminal attributes, you're welcome into that party. Because I recall when Sean Richards came and spoke to us about the last lap business with Lindsey Grant. You know. I was beaten up by some of the supporters of the PLP and the NRP and the CCM supporters and the PAM supporters, because when the story broke that Janelle was up at the last lap, an article was put out by that rag paper there, the St. Kitts Nevis Times, that it was not Janelle, it was someone else. And after I saw that article, I reached out to Janelle and spoke with him and apologized for reporting false stuff. And he accepted the apology. And I said to him, he's invited to come to this program and play the ear. And he said to me, Morrishaw, you believe that with them accusing me and all of this thing and my name in police report, I was not even at the venue? This is what General said to me on the phone. He was not even at the venue. Only to find out when the water pipe bust, you know, when Sean started to talk, everything run. The valve bust open. Sean said he was there, General was there, and Lindsey was there. Nobody come back and apologize to me for cussing my ass out on social media. This is these people that believe that they can do wrong. Now they're accusing the Labour Party of victimization. We all know who was doing the victimization. The same people who crying out now for victimization. They were the one talking about your political appointee resign. Well, it's been 7 months. Many of those political appointees still have not resigned. So if they don't resign, you got to send them home or relocate them. That's not victimization. But, you know, the sweetest thing for me, I'm going to play some blast from the past because I want people to realize the kind of individuals that we are electing in St. Kitts and Nevis to lead us. Something wrong with us. Something wrong with us. I think we got it correct this time by putting Dr. Joe there as Prime Minister. But Dr. Joe will not be there forever. Dr. Joe said he's going to do 2 terms if he's allowed to do 2 terms. When Dr. Joe is gone, who is going to be the next in line? Who's going to carry on the mantle of good governance? Who is going to walk the straight and narrow? You understand? The farmer had said he will give Sean support and his due because Sean was good to him. I'm going to let you hear it for yourself. And I'm going to let you all hear the due that he gave to Sean. You understand? But no matter what you all do, I am hoping that the AG is strong enough when he feel weak to pick up the phone and WhatsApp me or give me a call and let's have a chat. That I could give him the strength to continue, because sometimes we need somebody to talk to. Do not make any harsh decisions and walk away because the pressure gets so high. Talk to somebody who been through it, who have experienced it, and who can give you the advice to continue, because the country need an AG like you right about now. One of my farmer friend them there, after complaining to me for 7 years, how much knockbout you get from the patch up fella and the farmer have. Tell me they ain't no good and they're criminals. He come a week before with some endorsement and say, God send the farmer out to save St. Kitts. So I know some people have a head problem. Some people not thinking straight. I am aware of that. But we have to have the 1 or 2% of us to hold straight and guide everybody, you know? So this is your farmer hag speaking about the good that Brother Sean K. Richard, his Deputy Prime Minister at the time, did for him.
For the excellent support which the Honorable Sean Richards has provided me over the past 5 years and will provide me as we move forward. And that debt of gratitude, I will repay him as often as is necessary by giving him the best advice and support that I can, because he has earned my trust, my confidence, and he has allowed this government the stability that is required.
The spirit of lying is taking you over. You lie every day till lying become your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you tell so much lie that you don't even realize you're telling lie. Lies start to become truth for you, and truth start to become lie.
Yes, that is the former Hag talking about he's gonna repay Sean. Well, he did repay Sean in more ways than one. Listen to this one.
Thank you very much. Sandy Point is alive and well tonight. Sandy Point, thank you for coming out with such fantastic numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
We got him. We got him. We got him. And tell them not a damn seed for them.
Yeah, yeah.
We will ensure that the people of Sandy Point will have good, excellent representation. So Sean gone and Stasio on. And look what a difference Stasio has made to the body politic. While Stasio is on his way up, restoring the pride, the confidence of the people of Sandy Point, Sean is going down an escalator. Somebody called me today and they said to me, boy, I don't know what is happening to Sean. Sean up the hospital say he gonna go take picture. The fella say, boy, the man they gone off. The man they gone off. A man who has been an MP, a man who has been a deputy prime minister, has become so erratic. It's as if ants in a pan, so he can't keep still. When he had an opportunity to work, he was lazy on the job. And now it seems that he is miserable, doing all kind of craziness. And so we are happy that all is not lost, and that you have a clear choice, a young, humble champion of the people of Sandy Point,
Yeah, yeah.
against a man who is now behaving like a common vagabond. And that is why I say thank you for the warm welcome you have given to Stasio Williams. Stasio is the new MP for the people of Sandy Point and Victory and La Valley. Welcome this new son of the soil to Sandy Point. Yes, I am happy to have someone like Stasio, a young businessman, a self-starter, one with ambition, one with industry, one with pride, one who is humble, one who will work hard for all the people of Sandy Point.
Yeah, yeah.
Stasio represents what the People's Labour Party is about, an inclusive party. It doesn't matter that last time you may have voted Pam. It doesn't matter that last time you would have voted for Douglas Labour Party. It doesn't matter last time you would have voted for PLP. We say to you that we welcome all to assist us on the journey of nation building. Whether you are farmer or teacher, musician, DJ, in the family of the People's Labour Party, you will find a real home, a real place. Yes, only one party Only one party can take St. Kitts and Nevis forward. Only one leader can take the country forward. We can't trust St. Kitts and Nevis in the hands of a lazy parliamentary representative. And we can't trust St. Kitts and Nevis in the hand of Mark Brantley. Mark is a talker, not a performer. And Mark is a man who cannot manage anything well. That is why the more money we give him, the more he wants. And the more we give him, the more he overspends. He's a wasteful manager. And that is why he has nothing to show the people of Nevis. And then he won't blame me. Bad-minded Mark. I hear them the other day say they got something big. They got something to talk about. And the two desperate men in Mark Brantley and Lazy Sean Richards hold a press conference. They say they might talk about a prison. But what is that? Here, Morrishaw. The prison costs $2.25 billion, Morrishaw. Morrishaw, chatting those silliness that doesn't make sense. The prison project was approved in 2021. Twice it came to the parliament. Mark Brantley supported it. Sean Richards supported it. John L. Powell supported it. And the miserable people come out months after. I said they got a problem with it. Show me in the minutes where you had a problem, you worthless vagabonds.
People talk, that's what they do. They don't understand.
Douglas have a little bit more sense than Sean and Mark. For when they chatting stupidness, Douglas stole out a shop. I don't know what they may talk about the prison for. Because it is my prison that Douglas talk. He said since 2006 he was committed to build a brand new prison. We know that 1840 has outlived its usefulness. And our citizens and residents there, they are people too. They are people too. They have their sons and daughters, mothers and fathers who want to know that in our prison they are safe. The human rights body Mark knows has written to us time and time again and said the prison was overcrowded, that we needed a new one. Needed a new one. And everybody agrees. Everybody agrees. So what is the problem? The problem was we couldn't find the money to build, at that time, a modern prison. And so, recognizing that by ignoring the problem it will not go away, we had to find creative ways to do the right thing to our citizens, because they're no worse than nobody because they're in a jail. They might have done their crime and they spend their time, but they must come back out ready to serve in this country of ours, ready to pick up the pieces again. So many of our young men have gone there and they vow not to go back there. They are now fathers and brothers and caretakers of several families. They deserve a second chance. So we came up with the idea called an alternative investment option. Greedy Mark, vote for it, yes. Morrishaw, he supported it, yes. Understand? Supported it. And what was the idea behind it? That, listen, let people come in with money, build things that the country needs, and in return, we will give them the opportunity to participate in our CBI program.
I am
You know, the funny thing about this whole thing, you know, the funny thing about this whole matter, if he wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. This man is saying they had to go out and find money to build a prison because they don't know where to find money. But since the government changed, we all heard the report, you know, and even before the government changed, this man said he sent some 400 or 500 million across to Nevis, which we ain't know where that gone either. It must be dropped somewhere between the Bayfront and the channel going across to Nevis, because we ain't see where the 500 million spent in Nevis. And people who are supposed to get 10%, they say they're going to give 5%, and they're going to pay this later, and they're going to pay that later. People seem to forget all of these crooks. But the new Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Joe, spoke about some 20+ million that cannot be cash, that cannot be accounted for from the Development Bank, one of the government's financial entity. Over $20 million gone missing. Whether could have gone towards the prison or the hospital or the Bastia High School or the farm. Don't forget to say they already spent some 14, 15 million and managing the dirt at the high school that nothing start there yet. They start pushing off some grass and poof, $14 million gone, right? So I am playing these clips, you know, I'm playing them back because some of you seem to forget during the campaign the amount of knockouts we get, you know, when we were trying to get rid of them. If a government did not change in St. Kitts, we would not know what we know today. And I keep saying, until the government change in Nevis, you are going to find out that Nevis is in worse shape than St. Kitts. Could you all imagine if these people had to stay until 2025? Could you all imagine if some of us, that is why, you know, whoever wants to cuss Morrishaw, no problem, you know. But I know when I took that stroll down to Manhattan that morning and I got my couple of supporters that came there with me, they was very scared because some of them thought they talk about getting arrested, they don't want to get arrested and this kind of thing. When I come down to St. Kitts to do my little demonstration to sensitize the people, you all hear a lot of them talking now, you know. The new Gigi, I saw her on the side of the street and she hit to me. You know. The new Gigi could not come and talk to me on the street, you know. She couldn't walk with me on the street of St. Kitts. You know. My partner Sam Kanda could not come and walk with me in my first march. You know. My partner Sam Kanda drive around and every top or bottom of the street he wave at me. Because whatever the farmer had on them, everybody was locked down. DJ Morrishaw was the only loose cannon on the road that day. And I thank you folks on social media that walked with me that day. And during the second march, you know, I think sometimes that some them forget. Even though at last minute, they approved the march, when they realized that the march was getting to a certain level, and Dr. Joe came from a funeral and met us at West Independence Square. They get the order not to let us go back around. I remember Sam getting upset. Say, Morrishaw, let's go, let's walk. I said, Sam, the message has been sent. We are not here. We're in solidarity with the police. We are marching in solidarity with the police. Let's not fight with the police. It defeats the purpose. And we stood there, and God gave us the blessing. A shower of rain came down, and we dispersed. But look at what happened after those marches, those small marches. Look at when the Labour Party, under the leadership of Dr. Terence Juice, step it up and show them how march is done. You see the thousands of people on the street of St. Kitts. The new government we had today, it wasn't hand given to you. People had to fight for it. People lost their jobs for it. People lost family and friends. I lost many friends before this government could have changed. Sakoti and me was like brothers. And because of politics, we know, I must say, I know that we wasn't really friends, because politics not supposed to mash up you and nobody if you all are true friends. Politics almost mash up me and Monarch. Politics almost mash up me and Astro. Politics not supposed to mash us up if we care about our country. We are supposed to be able to sit down and talk about the wrong and the rights, call them out when they're wrong, and give them credit when they're doing a good job. But there are too much criminals in government in our little federation. We fix that in St. Kitts, and we need to fix it in Nevis. I'm going to continue to play these clips because some of you seems to forget what kind of government we had 7 years ago. And during the campaign trail, how much things came out. And I'm going to play these clips tonight. You know, you are going to hear from the only living national hero, you know, the Honorable Sir Kennedy Simmons, because he was the icing on the cake. I had respect for this gentleman to the maximum. But when he's going to tell me that he knew that the farmer hag was no good for St. Kitts, but he supported him to get rid of Denzel Douglas, then I know that we got problems with the people we got down there that we are given the opportunity to lead us and to put in a position to influence our future. Because a lot of them down there advise us, you know. They're only advising for their own benefit and for their friends. They're not advising for the betterment of the country and for the people. They're advising for their benefit. Though your commentary address a lot of that today. He's speaking about square peg in round holes, which is a fact, because many of them who was not supporting the cause for change are now benefiting from the change. And there are many people who was there in the valley fighting for a better St. Kitts and Nevis, still have not been recognized, still have not get an opportunity. But I will continue to fight for my little federation of St. Kitts Nevis. And I will continue to observe and call them out when I see fit. Nobody gonna stop me from doing the right thing. So this next clip is one of my favorite clips coming from the Hag, because this is when he tells you that he fired 6 of them. And I just love this clip. My favorite clip of 2022.
Yes, you're right. When you're sorry for Margadog, Margadog.
Sorry for Margadog, him turn round by 2. And if you jump out a frying pan, I know you.
You see that? They tried immediately after the general elections. After I worked so hard, after I took them in the alleyways and the byways, these ungrateful set of people determined that they had an opportunity. And so the talk from Nevis convinced a number of them to meet with him over Half Moon. And you know what? That man told them that he will support Lindsey Grant to be the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. You understand that? Within 24 hours of the elections of 2015, Mark Brantley tried a palace coup to depose me as the Prime Minister of this country. You think it just happening? And I stood up to them. I stood up to them. Those worthless vagabonds. That is who they are. And I said to them, with their forwardness, that I, who just get them elected, must come to a meeting. Come to a meeting to do what? They want to have discussions over the prime ministership. Well, I sent back the message to them. I will be sworn in as the Prime Minister of this country because that is what you said to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
So as sure as the sun will shine, I'm gonna get my share. What's mine? And then the harder they come, the more and the
They reached the trust of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We went through an election campaign. They promise you that you will get 5 more years of Dr. Timothy Harris Sterling leadership. But suddenly, it's like the devil got in the head. And they had a greed for political power. And I stood up because I man no easy walk over.
We no frightened so easy. All when you're rolling with the army that no scare we. Me represent. Hey.
I told them, simmer down. I told them that I will stand with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and continue to deliver a stronger and safer future. And in the end, they humbled themselves for a little while. But it like ants was still in their pants, some couldn't keep still. Undermining the government. And they're not ready yet. Wanting power for power's sake. But power belongs to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes. Power belongs to the people. And I soldiered on, knowing traitors war on board. And that is why I console myself going into the house of the Lord every Sunday as much as I can to help preserve.
They can't keep a good man down. Always keep a smile when they want me to frown. But I'm so sad he does a rough thing.
Sometimes you would have heard me said that there were times in the government I felt like Daniel in the lion's den, was surrounded by lions ready to grab the power from me. But God is a good God. Like Daniel, I could say I had those hungry lions around me. But thank God. Thank God. I'm still breathing. I don't know what tomorrow may bring, but I patiently endured them, prayed for them, gave them as much advice as I could. And in the end, the greed for power, the greed to put the hand on the treasury, the greed to raid the country for their businesses. One of their friends offered to buy out the support. That is part of their plan. And I said I could not be part of this craziness. It's not one thing I endured. But when you are leading, you can't just lead for good times. You have to be prepared to lead in battle.
Rumors them spreading, claim that I've sense in me planting, but I'm already done in the juggling.
And my people, my fellow citizens, even Job with all his patience had reached a certain point. And as they continued to misbehave, I pondered what the course of action should be. And I knew in my heart that the only proper thing must be at the appropriate time, we will have to go back to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we will talk about Nevis. And I determined that I would pray about the situation. You heard how they came in public. You heard how they tried to embarrass the Prime Minister of the country. You heard how they sought to keep a gun at my head, literally. Resolve or dissolve with the forwardness. And I determined, listen, after consultation, I said, should I let one go? Should I let two go? Should I let three go? Should I let four go? Should I let five go? Should I let six go? And I wake up the morning with a gentle peace. I went up by the Governor General. I say, His Excellency, I want 6 with 1 blow.
6 of them gone in. 6 at 1 blow. 6 of them gone in. Easy, so. Timo, the clear house, Timo. That's one of the good things you did as a Prime Minister, you know, Timo. That's a good thing. That's a good thing you did there. And I got to give you a little plaque for that, you know. I got to give you a little plaque for that because when I was asking them to resign and get you out of there, they're talking about resolve or dissolve and all that nonsense, thinking about themselves and not country. That is why you was able to throw 6 of them out of the house. They deserve everything they get because they should have dealt with you when they had the opportunity to deal with you. But they wasn't thinking about country. They wasn't thinking about their pocket and what they're supposed to get. Not what the people deserve, not what the country deserve. So they try to bury you, but you bury them good, brother Timo. But Timo, with all that you did today, Baby Brantley, you know, Baby Brantley say you are the best prime minister ever, you know. That's what I understand what's going on with the crazy man up there. I guess the dentist left something in the head when they went to fix the teeth. You know, he calling people buffoon. Buffoon look better than looking than him, you know. The buffoon, them look better looking than him, but he calling people buffoon. Listen to him biting up it up.
People come and they whisper foolishness in your ear, telling us foolishness because St. Kitts and Nevis is enjoying an unprecedented time of prosperity. Unprecedented time of prosperity. The relationship, let me just take 2 minutes, Brother Lindsay, just to say that the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis has never been better. It is the best. It is the best that we have seen. The best that we have seen. It is because of the closeness of that relationship that I could stand here tonight in Molyneux and speak to you. Speak to you as a national of this country, as part of the Team Unity administration. And if Vance Amory was here, he would have done similarly, because we are now bound together in a very tangible and important way as we advance the interests of the country. Now in Nevis, for the first time, people are not seeing those age-old distinctions that we used to have. If you want a job and a job is at Park Hyatt, people go on Park Hyatt to work. Wherever work is in the country, people are saying, I am a national of this country and I'm taking advantage of that. People of St. Kitts are taking advantage of opportunities in Nevis and vice versa. You know why? Ultimately, we are 2 islands, 1 paradise. 2 islands, but 1 country. And we need to continue to ensure that all of our people benefit from all that we have to offer as a country. I thank the Honorable Prime Minister. I thank Team Unity and the vision that went into this. I have said so many times right here in St. Kitts that we come from disparate places and disparate backgrounds. When I was in opposition, not a man used to talk as hard to me as Timothy Harris when he talking from over there. Talk hard, I used to fear him because you know he's big. So to come from there to where we are now says to you that we were able to put away those things and come together. Put away those things and come together for the benefit of the people of Nevis. Thank you.
How could you listen to Baby Brantley and believe anything he said? How could you honestly believe this man? How could anyone with good sense listen to this person and think that they care about you? Like the partner said, these guys lie so much that they start believing their own lies. The one that caught me off guard, though, the one that caught me off guard is our only living national hero. I had so much respect for this gentleman until he told me in an evening message prior to the elections that he was willing to sell out St. Kitts just to get rid of Dougie. Hear it for yourself, you know. Got the clips them, I have my receipts them. We're gonna blast from the past this evening because some of you seems to have convenient amnesia. When I see what's going on out there, some of you seems to forget that at 2025, these people were supposed to be in office until. And with what we are seeing now, could you imagine what 2025 would have looked like? What we are seeing now that we found in St. Kitts, could you imagine the condition of Nevis? Listen to the Honorable Sir Kennedy Alphonse.
When I decided to support the efforts of the Team Unity Alliance, I did so in order to get rid of Denzil Douglas. We succeeded. I took that decision also because of the opportunity to change the political culture of St. Kitts and Nevis and to end the political polarization which has plagued us. That is still my mission. Actually, PAM and PLP people were getting along pretty well. The problem was, and still is, Timothy Harris. The other reasons I supported the alliance in 2015 was that I wanted our government to develop the country for the benefit of all our people in a fair and just manner. And finally, I wanted us as a country to return integrity and accountability to our government. But Timothy Harris destroyed all those plans. The coalition was dissolved because of two reasons, and Timothy Harris is to blame for both. The reasons were greed to become wealthy. The second was his continued system of undermining all his colleagues. As Minister of Finance, he refused to fund many projects and programs, even though they were approved by Cabinet. This caused supporters to feel that it was the Prime Ministers who were not acting. But although the Prime Ministers were fighting for their people, the Minister of Finance kept refusing or delaying to support their projects. As Sean Richards once said, he, Timothy, would look them in the eye and say yes, and next day begin the process of undermining them. Not just Sean and Pam, not just Mark and CCM, but even the other PLP minister was undermined by her leader. His sole purpose was to make them look bad in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of their party supporters. But behind their backs, he plotted to make himself look like the savior. He wanted everyone to praise him. He did not want his ministers to get any credit. Everything must be about Timothy. They tried quietly for years, trying to hash out their disagreement privately, but without success. The situation got worse, but he continued to ignore them. They tried again late last year and again in January this year, but again, Harris ignored their concerns. They wrote to him for discussions, but he ignored their concerns and refused to negotiate with them. Or he said he couldn't diminish the office of the Prime Minister, failing to recognize that they made him Prime Minister. He proceeded to kick down the ladder by which he had ascended. It was only after all of these efforts failed to resolve the differences that the decision had to be made to dissolve the partnership. The 6 representatives were left with no alternative but to take their case to the people, because it was the people who elected them. Today, I am very proud of Sean Richards and Mark Grantley and the other 4 MPs who took a stand. Eugene Hamilton once told me that he warned Sean that Timothy was undermining him and would throw him under the bus. If Sean had not moved when he did, in 3 years' time, there would have been no Pam. Sean had to move to save the country and to save his party. Permit me now to explain why you cannot support Dr. Timothy Harris and his Labour Party. The first reason is his slate of candidates. Have you ever asked yourself which portfolios each of them would serve in if they succeed in stealing the elections? Can you imagine any one of Timothy's candidates being sent abroad to the European Union to deal with such a crucial issue like trying to save our CBI program? Not one of them. As for Timothy, you know he is afraid to go because he would have some serious questions to answer. Think of it. If Timothy Harris is returned to office, you will witness a massive scale of victimization that this country has never seen. Thousands would be fired from their jobs. They would harass you and terrorize you. Corruption in government would increase, and so would nepotism, as friends and family were given priority in this country. Keep in mind, he wants to get back into office to finish the prison and to allow the family to make millions and millions, while you just get a chance to be on pap and step. You must stop them. The fourth and fifth reasons are about Harris's appetite for betrayal. These will shock you, but will help you to decide, to see his trail of deceit. Harris was in the Labour cabinet of Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas for 18 years. Even though his former colleagues knew he could not be trusted, he remained in their fold, and they kept quiet about his ways. I too saw signs that he could not be trusted when he eventually teamed up with PAM and CCM. Everyone that he has had as a partner, even those who formed the PLP with him, eventually fell out with him. And it is always for the same reasons: distrust and betrayal. During the past 7 years of the former Team Unity government, I remained cordial but careful with Harris, because I knew that betrayal and vindictiveness remained a part of his nature. He betrayed CCM, he betrayed PAM, he betrayed the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and he also had a history of betraying the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. Harris has been betraying PAM and its members of cabinet from the first day they took office in 2015. Much of it we only found out later. But if PAM thinks Harris betrayed them, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party supporters should also know that he spent many years plotting against them. Here is a piece of history that most of you did not know about, but it is a history that would convince you that no one should and no one could trust the outgoing Prime Minister. What I am about to tell you, I don't think that even Dr. Denzil Douglas knew about it. Most of you would remember the morning after the election of 2010, when Prime Minister Denzil Douglas went to Government House to have his entire cabinet sworn in, as was the custom in those days. When Dr. Douglas looked around for Timothy Harris, Timothy was not there. He was absent because he was working on a plan to give Douglas the shock of his life. Dr. Harris was absent because he was trying to put together a coalition to get rid of Douglas and to make himself Prime Minister. How do I know this? Earlier that morning, I received a call from an intermediary of Timothy Harris. The intermediary was someone that he thought I would listen to. The message was to ask me to talk to Mr. Joseph Parry, who was then the leader of the Nevis Reformation Party, NRP. Harris wanted to ask Joseph Parry to talk to his successful candidate, Mr. Patrice Nisbet, and to ask Mr. Nisbet not to rush into any association with Dr. Denzil Douglas, because he, Timothy, was working on a plan to form a government. The message also suggested that there was a possibility that PAM could be in the government rather than in opposition, if Parry agreed to convince Patrice Nisbet not to work with Douglas. Mr. Parry was not interested, so he rejected the suggestion. It was only then that Timothy Harris eventually returned to the Douglas fold and was sworn in. So that was after the 2010 election. Now let us examine what Harris did 10 years later, following the 2020 elections. After the 2020 polls, Timothy Harris decided that he did not want Juicy Byron again as Attorney General. Yes, Timothy did not want Juicy Byron as Attorney General. He contacted and asked a prominent member of PAM to recommend someone who could replace Byron. Harris said Byron was lazy and incompetent. I was consulted by the member of PAM, but after discussion, we decided not to submit any names. Harris then rushed to get himself sworn in, leaving Juicy dangling in uncertainty. Many of you would recall that unlike previous years, no Attorney General was sworn in 2020 when the Prime Minister took his oath. The reason is what I have just told you. Eventually, because no suggestions were given to Harris to replace Byron, Byron was eventually sworn in. Someone should tell the Attorney General that he was being betrayed by Timothy, because he may not have known. Of course, he continued to smile with you and butter you up, Juicy. But he did not want you. Instead, he made you think it was your PAM colleagues who wanted you out. No, it was not. We kept you on. Two other reasons you cannot support the Harris group relate to his old ways of victimization. When Labour came into power in 1995, Harris became, for the first time, a Minister of Government in the Denzil Douglas administration. Harris immediately went on a victimization spree. The first man he marked was a farmer named Ben Phipps of Molyneux. His wife was Doreen Phipps, a well-known PAM activist and member. Timothy went on a rampage. Their farm was the family's means of sustenance and livelihood. Like so many other farmers in the area, Ben Phipps paid the prescribed rental for the land regularly and on time. Unceremoniously, Timothy Harris took away the land from Ben Phipps, moved in the bulldozers, and destroyed the crops that were growing and deprived the Phipps family of their livelihood. Ben Phipps pined away, and before the next election in 2000, Ben Phipps was dead. Some say he died of a broken heart. A few years later, his wife Doreen also died. Despite the loss of their parents, the family of Ben and Doreen Phipps still found it in their hearts to forgive Timothy. He went to them on his knees with water in the eye, begging for forgiveness. Like good Christians, they forgave him, because even the dying thief on the cross received forgiveness. And still, Harris continued his ways of betrayal. The next man he marked was Pastor Kelvin Jones of the Mount Carmel Baptist Church at Opoborio. Pastor Jones had bought land from the government to build his home. Timothy Harris decided to take back part of Pastor Jones' land. He sent in the bulldozer supported by the army. They were given firm instructions to tolerate no opposition and to shoot if necessary. This is the true nature and the political DNA of Timothy Harris. He would pretend in your presence, but would not hesitate to stab you in the back. So despite the many visits to church every Sunday, his heart is not pure and it is not in the right place. Right now, Timothy Harris and his accomplices are trying to do two things. They are trying to corrupt the electoral process, and they are trying to steal and buy the election. We have no choice. We the people have no choice but to vote for the PAM CCM team under the leadership of the Honorable Sean Richards. For the benefit of future generations, this present danger to our democracy, Timothy Harris, must be removed with the greatest urgency. All hands must be on board. We have a nation to save. Timothy Sylvester Harris is not just bad for PAM. He's not just bad for Labour. He's not just bad for Nevis. Timothy Harris is just plain old bad for this country. He has endangered the source of our financial stability, which is our CBI program. If the millions from this program dry up, we are all in trouble. Timothy Harris must be stopped now. How do we stop him? Here is how. We the people must reject all of his candidates, including him. We must all vote for the PAM and CCM, because that way lies the salvation of our federation. Timothy Harris is a clear and present danger to the democracy of St. Kitts and Nevis. May God bless and protect us all.
Now, my good people, after listening to our first Prime Minister and only living national hero, how can we in good judgment trust these politicians that is a part of the People's Action Movement, the CCM and the PLP? How can we trust them? In his own words, our first Prime Minister and only living national hero, Sir Kennedy Simmons, said he knew what Timothy was. He pointed out all the wrong that he have done to the citizens, just as Baby Brantley has done in Nevis. But he was more interested in becoming, it appears, he was more interested in, one, getting rid of Denzel Douglas and the Labour Party out of government, and two, becoming a national hero. He did not get the national hero under the Labour administration. So apparently it was promised under this administration. And the corruption didn't stop there. They went into a corrupt deal, this thing called the Charlestown Accord. This is why I'm still questioning Sam Kanda and his judgment in regards to the PLP. Because Sam, more than he's telling me, and I give him credit, and I respect him for the support that was given to change the government recently, both him and Dwyer. But I want to believe they knew all of this. If they knew all of this, I found out this just prior to the elections. And I wish I knew these things before. Because when I spoke to Sam after this broadcast by Sir Kennedy, Sam is confirming to me that it's not 2010 alone, Sam is telling me that this go back to 2008. Sam gave me another story about that matter. And it's not everything that Simmons might have said, which is factual in regards to the timing of the swearing in. Because Sam gave me some correction there as well. But the majority of what? 99% of what Sir Kennedy just explained took place. He's aware of it. So why would you want to put the country to that kind of problems? Not only you put the country in a bad way, Dr. Kennedy Simmons, you fired your deputy prime minister without any explanation, and all fools there for 1 year. You fired your deputy prime minister and all fools there. Up until today, the majority of the people does not know, the country does not know why you terminate your deputy prime minister. But yet, he become an ambassador in the same team unity construct under the Farmer hand until government change in 2022. You are serious about this thing? And you all want to talk about running government and caring about people and caring about country? Are you guys kidding me? Like baby girl will say, Daddy, are you kidding me? If I bring baby girls to listen to this nonsense, baby girl gonna look at me and say, Daddy, are you kidding me? You all are going about, listen to your former deputy prime minister.
I was brutally, callously, and viciously kicked out of government headquarters. I've been treated worse than a dog. Now let us examine a couple of things. The way that I have been treated, the action that Simmons took against me, gives the impression that him and the rest of them are sinless and that I am a sinner. Well, let me ask you a question early o'clock tonight. You believe Simmons and the rest of the gang are sinless? I ain't got in me hearing it, I can't hear you. Do you believe Simmons and the rest of the gang are without sin? All right. They behaved as though that they are holy and that I am unholy. Now, you believe Simmons and the rest of the gang holy? I ask you, you believe Simmons and the rest of the gang holy? The way I have been treated, they are giving the impression that I am bad and they are good. You believe they're good? I can't hear you. You believe that they're good? Well, now, let us start to examine a couple of things. First of all, look at the contempt by which the Prime Minister of this country have treated the citizens of this country. Let us start with the contempt for the people of the East Bastia constituency. You elected a representative, put him in the cabinet to represent you. A man decided to take your representative and throw him in the street. And after a year, he has not come to you to tell you why he threw out your representative. But wait a minute now. What are you supposed to be? Dog? Cat? Goat? Sheep? Cattle? What are you supposed to be? I am saying that the people of East Bastia do not deserve to be treated like animals. And Simmons owes an apology to the people of East Bastia. He owes an apology to the people of the whole Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, you see, that is the farmer Deputy Prime Minister under the Kennedy Simmons for the People's Action Movement, PAM, speaking about his termination some years later. But up to now, we the citizens do not know why he was terminated. So you just heard from your former Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister, Sir Kennedy, that is his deputy, talking about being terminated. They talk about who good and who no good. Well, the problem we have here now, it's only the Labour Party leaving St. Kitts to lead us. And if Dr. Dre said he only running for 2 terms, I only hope that when Dr. Dre decided to give up that mantle of leadership, that someone in the Labour Party is capable of stepping up to the plate and continue this good governance agenda, you know. Because I cannot see St. Kitts Nevis going back to a PAM government, a CCM, PLP, and PAM coalition. Where they're going to kill the country. What are we going to do? What are we going to do if that were to happen? So, my good people, I hope you're all paying attention. I really hope that you all are paying attention, because these people we're talking about, they were there for some 15 years. Could you imagine the damage that was done in those 15 years? We have another party just went there with the same corrupt figures. They was there for 7 years. Look at the damage that they did. So what are St. Kitts and Nevis going to come to? And we need to hurry up and fix the problem in Nevis. Because if this problem in Nevis continue for the full 5-year term, is problems for Nevis. You understand? So I'm calling on your people in Nevis. St. Kitts cannot do it on its own. St. Kitts have made the change. Your people in Nevis need to hit the streets. You need to do whatever it takes to correct the wrong that took place on the 12th of December 2022. The issue at the new hospital wing that is nowhere close completion. The lies and deceit that is taking place at Vance Emory Airport. Those 2 projects alone should be enough to wake up Univisions at home and abroad. Well, I still continue playing my clips, and I still have my receipts. 7 months later, they're still crying about victimization. But I want you all to hear the farmer hug. Back in 2015, when they was getting rid of who they thought was Labour supporters when they got into office as a team unity administration. Listen to the farmer hug.
As a responsible government, we have asked all political appointees of the former administration to do the honorable thing and resign. As a new administration, we must be afforded the opportunity to decide whether we retain those political appointees or change them in the best interests of the people of this country. To date, we have taken a number of deliberate actions to have some of them reassigned and some repositioned. We will complete the senior appointments in government and on statutory boards in due course. More information will be provided on these and other matters as we move forward.
Now this is the farmer had speaking about the political appointees. Who were political appointees? The folks who they thought were supporters of the Labour Party. Who was in there doing their job? People was thrown out of their office without notice. People was put on the street. People turning up the desks, taking their personal stuff, throwing them out. I understand there was people who left here in the New York metropolitan area who might have supported that party, who was down there trying people's stuff on the street. A lot of wrong was done to people. So I want to know what is going on with me good up Labour people. whatever advice Dr. Drew is getting, I understand that he's a sensitive person and everybody have to live. But the people that was victimized under the Team Unity administration should not have to go through the same mess under a Labour Party that they support. So if some of the things I am hearing is so, I'm speaking openly this evening, you know. I am speaking openly that everybody could hear me and understand me. I would hope that some of the things I am hearing that's going on, that people that work so hard to bring back democracy to our beloved federation are not getting the blight pushed aside, while those who was there intimidating and undermining our people are given first preference. Because if that is the case, it's really a shame, because that's not what I march for. I march for true democracy. I march that everybody can live fair and square and enjoy a St. Kitts Nevis as a citizen, not to get knocked about by your own people. I always heard my grandmother say, when your own lies bite you, they bite you hard. And I believe in that, because I have been there where families and friends that I have been there for have done me some stuff that it's really unthinkable. But nevertheless, I will survive. But at the end of the day, I want to know that everybody do good and get what is due to them in the fairness of time. Well, I ain't finished with the clips as yet, you know. I am not finished with the clips as yet. I want you all to hear the one where my partner there, the former Deputy Prime Minister under the recent Team Unity construct. You remember when all of them was in there, they said the former Hag was the best Prime Minister ever, and they support him. My partner, Brother Sean, he even said he keeping his promise. You understand? But whether he keeping the promise or not, I want to know, what did he promise Timo? Because he knew before he went out there and support Timo when everybody else said no, not Timo no more. That Timo already took 15 houses as he claimed. So if Timo took 15 houses and ain't give you nobody else none. So what you think? What do you think gonna change if you put him back there? So let me see if you're all on the same page with me. Because according to Sean, you know, they not only rip off the financial institutions in St. Kitts, you know, they give their family and friends free homes, free houses. Well, some people are like me who get roof damage from hurricane and bad weather. Up to today, they're not gonna help, you know. But people get brand new house. And this is not coming from DJ Morrishaw, you know. This is coming from the just recent there, Deputy Prime Minister. So listen to my boy, Sean K. Richards.
I want to go further. We have told you about the 15 free houses in Mansion donated by Venezuela that he took all for himself. Not even Aquila, his deputy political leader, he gave one of those houses. He took every single house for himself in Mansion. Well, those are not the only free houses built, you know. Under the roofing program, about 40 houses were built in constituency number 7. I want to tell you 40 houses built under the roofing program in constituency number 7. I mean built from foundation up to roof. Yes, you're asking what? About the next 40 houses built from the roofing program in one constituency only, in constituency number 7. 40 houses.
Now you see what the point I'm making. This is why they're trying to slow down our respectful AG. Because all these things have to be investigated, you know. The country need to get back its money, you know. The taxpayers need to get back its money, you know. As the baby Brantley says, somebody need to go to jail, you know. That new jail they're building, somebody need to christen it, you know. Not somebody from 1840 who is there now. It's a new jail. We want new faces. We want new shoes. We want new clothes. We want somebody who take the people money without authorization up there. We don't want you to move the old prisoners up there yet. We want new prisoners in there to christen it. If the former Deputy Prime Minister is talking the right thing, we're talking about over 80 homes built for one area because of family and friends. That's what the man is telling me. You know. And if I say go, let the investigation say whether it's so or not. But Mr. AG, continue your work, my brother. You're good up, AG. Anyway, we're gonna drop another clip, you know. The clip them ain't done yet, man. I got clip I could run from now until next December. I ain't gonna done. I got my external drive here load up and running. I want to big up my engineer there, Brother Ike, for doing a good job keeping me up and running. I know some people would wish that my system give me trouble every week so I can't come to you. A lot of them just pray and clap when I have technical issues, but not tonight. Brother Ike take care of me nice and nicely. So this is another clip here coming, man. Good evening, Sister D. How are you doing? Mary Nolan, how are you doing? Brother Chester Watson, Gigi Williams, how are you doing? Sister Skeet, how about Delicious Nicholas? I gotta drop my receipts here and them tonight, man. We got to go back because people seem to forget where we're coming from. There seems to got convenient amnesia. So I have to bring the message back. Remember we had the track, Get Rid of Them? You're gonna hear that tonight, you know. I'm going to bring back that track tonight because them people over there in Nevis, that blue machine. The blue machine over there have to go. So, back to the next clip.
I have said publicly that I haven't gone to cabinet for about 8 weeks now. And I have not gone to cabinet because I stand on a matter of principle. Thus far, I have refused to publicly speak about the matter. But it seems as though some persons want me to talk. So let we talk. Because if it's one thing I am going to stand up for in this country is in defense of my name. When I was born, my mother and my father gave me the name Sean Kenneth Richards. And if it's one thing I know I will die with is the name Sean Kenneth Richards. That is why sometimes when people meet me in public and they say Sean, and then they correct themselves and they say, sorry, honorable, I just said to them, my name is Sean, and it will continue to be Sean. You all heard about the incident at Last Lap. The incident with Lindsay. And the night when that incident took place, I went to Last Lap the night. I went Last Lap the night. A friend of mine and I went to Last Lap that night. When I got there, I saw Johnny there, I saw Lindsay there. In the middle area in conversation. The friend and I joined them in conversation. And we were there speaking for about an hour. After about an hour, Lindsay said he has been here since after cabinet. He going home. And he turned out and he left. I stayed in there maybe about the next 10 minutes after. I turned to the friend. I said, you ready to go? The friend said yes. I left last lap. I went outside. On the way outside, I saw 3 police officers standing up on the outside. I said good night to the police officers. I continued to my vehicle. When I said good night, the police officers answered me. They said good night. I left Jonelle inside. It so happened when I got there was a parking space next to where Lindsay's vehicle was. So I was parked right next to Lindsay's vehicle. I jumped in the car that I was driving the night. The friend took maybe about the next 5 minutes before he came outside. When I saw Lindsay's vehicle, Lindsay was still in the vehicle. I said, well, I thought Lindsay said he's going home. But I ain't bothered to ask Lindsay why he's still here. I waited for the friend to come out. I jumped in my vehicle. I went home, go sleep. The next morning, Jonelle can tell you, I called Jonelle to ask Jonelle a question because a lady sent me a WhatsApp message asking me if for the under-19 cricket, if spectators are allowed. I called Jonelle. I said, Jonelle, for the under-19 cricket, spectators allowed? He said, yes. I hung up my phone. Pour me in now that something happened up at last lap the night. Me know nothing about nothing happened up at last lap the night, so me not ask Jonelle nothing about that. Jonelle is here. Jonelle a lie? It's only later Jonelle say that when he saw me calling him, he thought is that I calling him about, but me know nothing about it. All the Saturday, I ain't know something happened at last lap. Sunday, I went by Dr. Connor Church, Antioch Baptist. The same friend went church with me. On the way back from church, I saw all these things on social media about an incident at last lap. I turned to the friend. I said, why come like something happened at last lap last night? He said, what? I told him. We were able to verify that indeed something happened at last lap. That was the end of that for me. I ain't paid much mind. A day or two after that, I heard that my name is in the police report relative to this incident at last lap. I said, my name in police report? What was my name in police report for? Me no witness not at last lap. I wasn't part of no incident at last lap. What my name in the police report for? Huh? To say good night to the police? I said, all right. I drive into work the morning. I called the commissioner of police. I said, Mr. Commissioner, good morning, how are you? He said, he's good. I said, you have a few minutes to spare? He said, yes. I said, let me ask you a question. If I drive in across Old Road Bay, and 5-10 minutes after I drive across Old Road Bay, an accident happens across Old Road Bay, am I important to the accident? He said, no. You want in the accident, you know, see an accident, you can't get no evidence. I said, I'm glad you tell me that, so let me ask you a question. And I told him about the incident at last lap. I said, I've been made to understand that my name is in the police report. The commissioner said to me, yes, he has the report here in front of him, and indeed, my name is in the report. I said, but Commissioner, why my name in the report? Am I germane to the incident that happened at last lap? The commissioner tell me, now let my blood pressure go up over that, not take on that. I said, all right. I left it there. I left it there. A few weeks after that, the commissioner comes to cabinet. And there's a discussion about it. And again, I reiterated is that my name ain't got no call in the police report. Because I don't understand how is it that the police is indicating that they came there, some 50-something persons at last lap, and only 3 names that could identify who at last lap to put in the report. Honorable Lindsey Grant, Honorable John L. Powell, Honorable Sean Richards. Well, what you want to tell me? The police officers ain't none of bad guys who at last lap? So why my name must be in the report? I could understand Lindsay's name in the report. I could understand John L's name because they said at the end of the incident, John L sort of assisted them. But me no witness the incident. Me no part of the incident. When me got me thing with the police, we have an argument, I don't hide from saying it. But what my name got called in a police report to do with an incident that ain't got nothing to be part of? Was somebody playing politics with the name Sean Richards to put my name in police report? And I was angry about it and I spoke about it. The last thing I was told is that the report has been altered and my name has been removed from the report. Again, I left it like that. I left it like that. About a week later, I was at a certain establishment, and while sitting down there, someone came to me and said to me, well, how you ain't tell me you were at last lap when this thing happened? I said I didn't consider it important because I ain't know what happened at last lap. All I know something happened at last lap. I don't know what happened there. I said, but wait. But you got to be my name in this report still. So the next day, I went to cabinet and I complained about it again because I said I was told that my name has been removed from the report, but based on reliable information, my name still included in the police report. And I took a decision there and then that until this matter is cleared up, I am not coming back to any cabinet meeting.
You know something, if this thing wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. Good evening, Brother George Nisbet, how are you doing? You're someplace around the world, huh? My boy Trevor Cornelius Carbo, how are you doing? Remember to drop your address and contact information in the thread there, you know. Now, for those of you who might have convenient amnesia with this clip I just played, let me explain, you know. This conversation that the former Deputy Prime Minister, is speaking about, you know, is in the height of COVID, when they're telling people to go home and fast and pray. People cannot go to work. People cannot travel back and forth from St. Kitts and Nevis, ferry lockdown. Only essential workers and all of this thing they were carrying on with, you know. And then they kind of ease up and the restriction to accommodate a few family and friends. So this last lap that the deputy is talking about is the son and the father, who was at the time Minister of Tourism, have a little joint, a party joint, a club, whatever you want to call it, up Boardwalk, you know. And during that period, because of the COVID and how they claimed they was handling the business, the task force and the police was tasked with going around to check on these businesses that was allowed to open to make sure they're not overcrowded. And whatever happened at the last lap, I do not know. But one thing I know, I understand when the police tried to address the matter, there was some contact made with the then tourism minister and the police, and the matter became a legal matter. I reported on that matter as it came to me. From a video clip, I could have seen everything. But following the release, the rag paper there I call it a wreck paper because all this produces a lot of fake news. I think Wally Wilkin could do better. My brethren, I like Wally. But I think Wally could do better with his paper by providing more truthful, do more investigative stuff and bring the facts. Do stop peddling falsehood for your party. You might be a supporter of the PAM or the PLP or the whoever. But use your paper for good, not to propel falsehood. There was an article came out in that paper that the voice that was heard on the video was not Janelle Powell. So I called Janelle and he confirmed to me that it was not him. As a matter of fact, he said to me, he said, boy, Morrishaw, I was not even at the venue. So I do not know how my name get into a police reporter and a audio clip. That's what Janelle says to me. He was not even at the venue. So when his leader of his party, PAM, the People's Action Movement, Sean K. Richards, gonna come now and say, Janelle was there. How can I trust Janelle anymore? How can I take anything Janelle tell me anymore? Because there was no need for him to lie to me. You was there, what you saw or don't saw, whatever it is fine. But Janelle said to me, Morrishaw, not only I was not involved, I was not even at that venue. And then you had some of the supporters of PAM and PLP and the rag paper there all over social media cussing me. You need to apologize. You shouldn't spread false news. You shouldn't this, you shouldn't that. When in the meantime, they're the ones spreading false news here. Because Sean Richards just said that him, his chairman of his party, the People's Action Movement General was there, and the then Minister of Tourism was there. And these people, they did a lot of damage, people. A lot of damage. And if it wasn't so serious, it'll be laughable, you know. But at the end of the day, you had contractors out there, lockdown, couldn't go any place during the COVID, while some contractors working 7 days a week, getting all the government jobs. We find out now that there wasn't proper awarded to them. They're not easy. Some of these same people are still benefiting under a labor government, while people who was there not getting any work and was not treated right still can't get a do. That is what I'm hearing. And I'm going to do my investigation, because if this is so, I'm going to bang my mouth. I'm going to talk hard. I'm going to talk long. And I'm going to talk again. And I'm going to continue doing that every week until things change. Because if them people under the previous administration was doing so much damage, I got a piece of news yesterday now. And people are going to be upset with me when I talk it. But we're going to talk the things plain. I was told by an individual from their own mouth that when I was downstairs at the mission in Manhattan protesting and looking for the former UN ambassador, the patch-up fella, them and the patch-up fella was out having breakfast the morning. Then I study me. I was told that by an individual. I am informed now that that same individual who was with the patch-up fella, who was hanging with the patch-up fella, who did not care about the fight DJ Morrishaw was putting on for the people, got work with the government now, you know. While other people who was fighting the fight can't get a do. When I played Dwyer commentary, I want you all to pay close attention to Dwyer's commentary, because I am in full support of Dwyer commentary for today. You know. The only issue I have with Dwyer is that what he's speaking about is taking place in Nevis too, you know. This is not just St. Kitts. And for some reason, Sam and Dwyer and my partner JL and my cousin Dr. Martin and them, they can't talk about Nevis. Nevis is too much across the waters. they can't talk about it. They're talking in a whole something. They cannot point to a particular issue. I've been waiting for weeks now for my boy, the big JL, to send to people across to Nevis, Jamie and whoever, his news people and be, to go check. And the hospital wing there at Alexandria Hospital, and to go check on the airport matter. I've been waiting on my partner JL now to send 2 investigators across and let's talk about it on groundings. I'm still waiting. I've been waiting for Dwight and Sam and Dr. Martin to touch the hospital issue and the airport issue. I'm still waiting. If you want to be #1 radio station, you know, bring the things them. Let's talk the things them. You can't select what you're going to talk about if you're going to be there for the people and you want to be #1. Be #1. Talk the things them. Let's talk the things them. You understand? Let's talk the things them. So I don't have a problem with people getting work. I don't have a problem with people benefiting. But in the process, the people who was in the trench, the people who fight for the democracy, give them a chance. There are many people from the NRP in Nevis, both here in the diaspora and back home, was in full support of the Labour Party, and they don't think they're getting a fair deal. That is what they're saying. And if you listen to the commentary from Dr. Kennedy Simmons, he said himself, he said in 2010, when the farmer had reached out to them and asked Joseph Parry to get the support of Patrice Nisbet to overthrow Denzel and the Labour Party, Parry said no. NRP was supporting Labour. That is why the Hague went back and got sworn in to government in 2010. If NRP and Parry them was not supporting Labour, Labour would have gone in 2010. I am playing these clips tonight for you all to understand your all history, because some of you have selective amnesia. Let's get rid of these dirty politicians we got in St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's put rightful thinking people there. When we got advisors who are confused, and when I say confused, they're not confused because they do not know what they're doing. They're confused because they're doing it for self, not for country, not for everybody else, for themselves. So they come into the Prime Minister and they whisper in the Prime Minister ear, or they whisper in whoever ear to get what they can benefit. That is what good for the country. I'm going to talk hard, I'm going to talk long, and I'm going to talk again. Who want to stop talk to me, who don't want to love me is their problem. But I'm going to call out all you as I see it. Give the country a chance to grow. Give the Federation a chance to grow. The Labour Party has only been there for 7 months. They're doing what they're doing. I'm quite satisfied with where they are, you know. The farmer have gone. The ambassador to the UN gone. The one who represents us in the diaspora gone. The PS for National Security gone. The Commissioner of Police gone. The Gigi gone. A lot of people gone that I'm satisfied with, you know. Some still you need to go. But I have no beef. Let Dr. Joe govern. We elect him and his cabinet to govern. So I mean, I question them. All I'm saying is when do I speak about the square pegging round holes, this friendship business cannot work. A lot of people who is in office now and getting a benefit, they was there with the other party undermining us, doing damage to us at home and here in the diaspora. And some of them is still there doing it. So we need to pay attention. We need to have the conversation, and we need to isolate these people. Otherwise, Labour ain't gonna survive for the next round of politics, for the next round of elections. I know some of you might think you all have it all under wraps because you're all in office now and whatever. You all didn't get there on your own. It's a complete mechanism that came together. And it started somewhere, and it didn't start with you all. It started on the ground with people like myself, right? So take some advice. Back to the clips. This is where Sean speaking about the peace people getting free money. They know where the money coming from. I wish somebody could put money in my bank account. I don't need to care where it's coming from. But listen for yourself.
I said to you inside the point that a young lady told me she saw an extra few $100s in her bank account. And when she called the bank told her that it is money from the peace program. She stated that she never ever signed up for the peace program. This morning we sat in a meeting and Jonel spoke of somebody from West Bastille who he said told him just last night that over $1,000 ended up in his bank account. He ain't know where the $1,000 come from. When he checked with the bank said to him, it is from the peace program. If she didn't sign up for the peace program and she found a few $100s in her account, the gentleman didn't sign up for the program and he found over $1,000 in his account, you must ask yourselves, well, who else getting money from the peace program that was intended for you to benefit from?
I have, you know, these are the things that have to be investigated. These are the things that have to be investigated. Money going into people's bank, they don't sign up for it, and people who sign up can't get nothing. You know, there's a lot of things going on there that need to be addressed, you know. And the things them have to talk, you know. The things them have to talk, because if we don't talk the things them, people will sit back and think everything is okay. And everything is not okay, because I'm getting the phone calls. I am the one receiving the phone calls. I am not getting paid to answer about the phone, but I can't sleep properly when they calling me asking me questions. I got to answer the questions them. So my good people, you know, I got to drop this one here too, you know, because my boy JL last week, someone calling and messaging me about JL, said that he's into the firearm business now, and the big JL had to respond to them about that. But before I go to the big JL, let me go to my boy Jonel, because Jonel came out in the late, you know, and reminded them that he's not into the thieving of election business anymore. He done with that. No, I didn't say it, you know. Jonel said he's not into the election thieving business no more. He done with that. So listen to Jonel.
Nobody thieving no election in this country this time, you know. Nobody thieving no election in this country. And to those who think they slip through the cracks, if you ain't supposed to vote in Central Bastille, you will not be allowed to vote in Central Bastille. I done with that. Who ain't supposed to vote there, do not come because you ain't voting.
Like the man said, he done with that. He not into the thieving business anymore, you know. So all of you that calling me, asking me all kind of nonsense, let me drop the clips, let me all hear them for you all self, because I don't want nobody to say Morrishaw. If I say go, I say go. So this is Brother JL response to the folks out there who inquiring and who calling me. When I don't play this clip, nobody call me. I have nothing to do with freedom. I deal with DJ Morrishaw's experience here on a Wednesday evening. So when JL finish speak, that's the end of that as well, right?
Wednesday afternoon, where EK was seen on the stream with a gun. Now, there's some information that I've been reading on Facebook and social media. That information is quite inaccurate, because I know that EK has a legally acquired firearm. It wasn't an illegal weapon, and he wasn't brandishing it. They say he was brandishing it and showing off, and it was an act of recklessness and so on. The thing is, when Ike finished the program, he thought that the cameras were off. He was having a quiet moment looking at his property, right? And so he was, whatever he was doing to it, he was doing whatever he was doing, checking it. He was checking it. And that came over, and people are seeing that as somehow, as some kind of wanton, reckless act of him doing that. When the firearm, first of all, is legal. It's not something that's illegal, and so he was brandishing it and all of that. None of that took place. There was no one here in the studio at that time. It was himself. He was having what he thought was a quiet moment to do what he was doing. But it so happens that the cameras were on, and so it was, to me, unintended, unintentional, and so I don't see people are turning it into some big to-do, because it's as I said, I don't think he breached any firearms law.
He has not.
He hasn't breached any law, the Firearms Act.
No.
He has not done anything like that. But people are promoting and making false, misleading, and in some points speculative and sensational news. You know, they're putting politics into it. And when it's nothing like that, I mean...
So Freedom FM is a private radio station, right?
Right. It does not seem to me that any law was broken. No firearm law. It's his gun, and he thought that he had a quiet moment. He didn't know that the cameras were on. And so that is where it blew out, because then people saw him with the weapon and felt, oh, you know, he's doing something wantonly, when it was nothing of that kind. And so this matter is being dealt with internally, and that is exactly how we would resolve it.
That's the point.
Okay, so that is the big JL speaking about something that transpired, I guess, last Wednesday afternoon at his station. So, folks, thanks for all your calls and all your concern. I don't know nothing about that. JL don't say his piece. Please refer all your comments and concern to the big JL. All right? I'm trying to bring back your all memories from the campaign we just went through, because some of you seem to forget. So this song here is for my team. I want to remind Dwyer, Astafan, Sam Kanda, Douglas Watley, Duncan Wackley, the Dr. Martin, Ivor McMahon, Larry Vaughan, my big up crew, the Talk Puppy, Brother DuPont. This was our chorus line, and yours still have a little left over in Nevis, so let's get rid of them.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. What they can do and how they are the best. Mash up we country, now have we in a mess. So what we do? Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid
man, that was the chorus line not too long ago. Get rid of them. Everybody was all in favor. Right, Brother Alvin? Alvin Brown was singing the chorus line. Carbo was singing the chorus line. Dwyer, Dr. Martin, Ira McMahon. As a matter of fact, the talk puppy say, if they mash up the thing, all of them must go. But he back and forth. 1 minute he loved Timothy so much, he would die for Timothy. He will die for the farmer. But, partner, people talk, you know, doesn't mean. Gwyneth always tell me, Jeff, you can see people face. You can shake the hand, but you cannot shake the heart. There are many dangerous people out there. You got to be careful. And I learned that so much over the past 2 years, and more so over the past 8 months. I have learned so much about people that you have close to you that when you think you're all on the same page, no, they are pages ahead of you. You know, they have different opinions, they got different ideas, they got different needs, but they tell you what you want to hear so that you could do their due diligence. I'm pretty sure you all heard Sam Kanda on many occasions on this program tell me, boy, Morrishaw, you're doing a good job. You're going to go down in history. You're one of the history makers for the work you have done to get rid of them. I wonder if you still feel that way, because I'm hearing some biting his tongue and biting his lip and stammering so much on the groundings these days. They're not seeing what's wrong in Nevis. There's all kind of wrong going on in St. Kitts. Dwyer said there is square pegs in round holes. And I want to believe Dwyer now what he's saying, you know. So let's take a listen to Dwyer's commentary for today.
Greetings. If two persons agree on everything, one of them is a liar or a fool. Disagreeing is as natural and sometimes as necessary as agreeing. But some of us accept and adopt the opinions and outlooks of other people, either because of our own weakness of mind or because of our weakness of character. We swallow hook, line, and sinker. We who are weak of mind do not possess the intellectual ability or desire to examine what is put before us so that we can come to our own informed and enlightened opinions. The truth is, though, very few of us are so weak of mind that we cannot reason out our own positions. Very few. So that is not the main problem. The main problem is that many of us are not trained from early to think and reason critically for ourselves. And that in itself may be our country's major stumbling block to real progress. A thinking population is a progressive population, and more likely than not, a prosperous population. But there is a solution to the problem, and this solution can be provided in our homes, our schools, and other institutions. However, sad to say, I see little sign of this happening. I hope we see changes soon. And we who are weak of character, we know better, but for one reason or another, we choose to act as if we agree with somebody else with what they say or do, just for what we can get out of it, whether emotion or economy. A person of weak mind or character is therefore not going to be of much help in the process of improving organizations, improving governments, and empowering nations, because they do not add to the pool of diversity and distillation of ideas. And so they offer little or no help to the process of enlightened decision making. What makes this terrible situation even worse is that a significant number of our critical thinkers are lost to us by better opportunities made available to them overseas. We invest in them from pre-birth to preschool, to primary school, to high school, to CFB level, then they never come back. There's nothing here for them. This is a tale of shame that governments over the decades since independence in all of these islands have repeatedly failed to make critical thinking, reason, and enlightenment the cornerstone of national development strategies. It is to their eternal discredit that as their governance mantra, they have chosen entitlement over enlightenment, dependence over independence, handouts over productivity, and politics over people. The brutal truth, my friends, is that we have not been investing as smartly as we could in our most precious and potentially most productive resource, that is our human minds. And so long as this continues, we will never achieve our potential as a nation. And not only will we never fulfill our potential, but we will become increasingly unreasonable, even foolish and brutish. And with respect, ask yourselves if you're seeing the signs of increasing unreasonableness, increasing foolishness, and increasing brutishness. Think about it. And it all begins with teaching our children to think for themselves and to be able to agree and disagree on the basis of reason, conscience, and mutual respect. That is the key to success. And over the decades since independence, successive governments and social and other institutions have not sought this path to obvious and inevitable progress. And that is a point that needs to be discussed and a question that needs to be asked. We have to teach our children and ourselves that the first priority of focus is not the messenger, but the message. Not the teacher, but the lesson. You know, and I know, that from the mouths of the most learned persons, you sometimes hear the biggest pile of foolishness, while from the mouths of persons who may be regarded as simpletons, you hear pearls of wisdom. In last week's commentary, I spoke of my concerns with regard to, and I cautioned against, square pegs at round holes. And I say at round holes because they can't fit into the round holes, no matter how hard they or anybody else may try. I spoke of opportunists, and I spoke of underminers in the public sector, and of the threat they pose to the Drew administration's ability to carry out its mandate. Some of you became upset, but no voicing of disagreement with what I had said contained any reasonable rebuttals. It was all personal, focusing on the messenger rather than on the message. Like the proverbial ostrich with its head in the hole, while the rest of it was exposed. Ask yourselves these questions. Are there square pegs at round holes in the public service? Not that it is new, but are there square pegs at round holes in the public service? And I don't mean at the highest levels only. I mean at all levels. The honest answer has to be yes. But if you think no, then show me that the answer is no. Meanwhile, I will presume that I am correct. Next question. Can those square pegs at round holes fit into those round holes? No, they won't. So can they properly perform their duties so that the government and the country would be more efficient? The answer is no. If you disagree, make your point, make your argument. but we don't have to become enemies. You cannot have good governance with square pegs trying to be fitted into round holes. Whatever the organization, particularly if these round holes are of critical importance to the organization. Are there opportunists in the public service? Yes. And is their opportunism intended to benefit the country or themselves? Is their presence in the public service the best thing for good governance and for the people of the country? The obvious answer is no. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm making an observation. And I want good governance. I want efficiency. I want a better country for all. Are there underminers in the public service? Yes. And do you expect that their efforts are intended to or will benefit the government and you, the people of the country? If you expect that, then you have some disappointments ahead of you. You need to wake up. I repeat, all of these things are about good governance. Passing legislation on integrity in public life, freedom of information, contracts, procurements, anti-corruption, and so forth is good, but it's not enough. Square pegs in round holes or at round holes, opportunists and underminers have to be removed or neutralized. You don't want to take bread off people's tables, but you don't want square pegs in round holes, opportunists and underminers threatening and compromising the best interests and the empowerment of the people of the country. Something has to give. The public service, and this includes boards, needs to be professional and efficient, and all hands must be on deck to deliver the services to the people and without compromising their integrity, to play their role in ensuring that the policies of the elected persons are carried out. That is as much good governance as the corruption part of it, of which we hear so much. And what good does it do for Dr. Drew, his administration, and most importantly for the people of the country, if these square pegs and these opportunists and these underminers are allowed to have their way? What good? We have to make hard decisions, We are big people. This is a country. And you don't want to be going out there cap in hand begging. You'll never be respected. Do we have the ability and potential to be virtually self-sufficient and to be prosperous? Yes. Is it going to happen magically? No. We have to be efficient, and we have to make tough decisions in the public interest. And herein lies the problem. In order for these decisions to be made, we have to have proper debate in the public square, not quarrels and arguments and attacking the messenger. Mind you, these attacks don't do me anything. I've been through this time and again over the decades. So it's not me where the problem lies. It's the reluctance of people to have sober and objective analysis and debate of the issues, which in turn will inform the decision makers in both the public and private sectors. An enlightened body politic makes for a more efficient public service and a more responsible private sector. So let's debate. Let's be reasonable. Let's be fair. And if we cannot do these things, no matter how wonderful the intentions of our leaders may be, we are going to head to hell in a handbasket. Just because we choose not to be reasonable, not to be independent thinkers, not to be critical thinkers, not to assess the message and the point, but to attack the messenger. We have to learn to reason and to be reasonable. We have to learn to debate, to discuss, and to argue without quarreling and hating. We have to learn to disagree without killing the body or the character of the other person. And good governance starts with good governance of ourselves. I hope there's a lesson here for all of us. Until next time, all the best.
Yeah, brother Dwyer, very lovely commentary for today, great commentary. It just will be nice if I can see you transform that into our sister island of Nevis, because everything you're saying there is spot on, but that is currently the order of the day in our sister island of Queen City, Nevis. So it will be nice to see you guys direct some balls. You're bowling some good balls there, right above the waist, but you need to at least direct them at the center stump. Right now, the center stump is Nevis. That is our sister island that need our support, our help to correct the wrongs, you know. We've been speaking about democracy and the recent elections in December 12th of 2022 that affected Nevis badly. And we know a lot of foreigners, a lot of outsiders, non-Nevisians, non-Kittitians came in that make the difference in the mess over there. And we heard about the fake marriages and stuff like that. And that did not just down to St. Kitts. As a matter of fact, Larry Vaughan gave a report some time back that those marriages was those outside folks that was registered while he was the representative for the Labour Party at the electoral office was concentrated in 3 areas in Bastia and in Charlestown, Nevis, where these fake tongues are. And the new Prime Minister himself, the Honorable Dr. Terence Yu, said in his ministry, which is national security, he can confirm that hundreds, if not thousands of fake marriages took place. So take a listen for yourself while Dr. Joe was speaking not too long ago.
In my own ministry, a ring of illegal marriages. Madam Speaker, it is like, let me tell you how this ring works. I have it written down here. There's somebody in Santo Domingo who charging a lot of money for a visa. You pay them for a visa there. They have a connection here. So you buy your plane ticket and you come in with your very expensive visa, of which this government only making 10%. When they come in, Madam Speaker, a husband or wife is waiting for them. So they're gone. Marry, more money again, Madam Speaker. From the time they get married, Madam Speaker, same day, sometimes in the wedding garments, they're gone for the certificate of marriage. After they get a certificate of marriage, in the electoral office for ID, citizenship, certificate of citizenship, and then they're gone for their ID. Once they go for their ID, Madam Speaker, they are paid a certain sum of money, and their name is included. And
now, these are things that we have spoken about. This was one of the fight while I was there at the electoral office on Central Street, keeping my eyes on things. Larry Vaughan got the opportunity to go on the inside and start things firsthand. So we know that these things took place. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this investigation, that seat in Nevis that was won by the blue team, they will lose that seat once the Nevisians and the NRP, the opposition, do the right thing and go and file the necessary papers. Because those people, they voted illegally. They are not citizenship of St. Kitts Nevis. They got fake marriages, fake marriage certificate, got registered wrongly to vote in the NIA elections, just as they were in the federal elections. This problem with the fake marriages is not just down to St. Kitts. It's also in Nevis. So how people out there acting as if those people that was there in the concussion, CCM, all of a sudden, you want to give them a break from the corrupt acts that took place? No. I am of the view that our mindset, the way we're thinking, we are still thinking like back in the days. You guys heard about Rosa Parks, who decided she's not going to sit in the back of the bus? Well, DJ Morrishaw decided he's not going to sit in the back of the bus either, you know. But some of your mindset, you're all still thinking as if you're in the back of the bus. If it was wrong on the NRP, it got to be wrong on the CCM. If it was wrong on the Labour, it had to be wrong on the Team Unity. So why are you guys trying to make excuse about the things that was done? It was wrong. I know the divisions right now, especially the NRP supporters, they might feel away of how things went down in recent times with the elections, and they have somebody to, they want somebody to blame because Baby Brantley has managed to try to get everything that go wrong in Nevis to blame it on somebody in St. Kitts. He as the premier must not take any responsibility. He's not been paid to run the affairs of Nevis. The people in St. Kitts is supposed to run the affairs of Nevis and finance the affairs of Nevis. He's not supposed to take any responsibility. So it is a common assault for people in Nevis to feel like, well, Dr. Judy Prime Minister, he's supposed to take care of the problem, or the AG, and that's not the case. So I'm going to drop this track here. This track is sung by my boy, the out of the VIE, Louis Ible Jr., still in the back of the bus. Lovely music, but it's not the music I want you to listen to, it's the lyrics, because we have to change that mentality that we have. And I'm actually running in overtime at the moment, and I don't plan to go much later this evening, so we're going to be getting to the closing shortly. Stand by for the man, Louis Ible Jr.
Upon a bus as she stayed her claim at a time when racial injustice reigned. What transpired? You think she was insane? Rosa Parks took a stand like a man against another man, who told her move to the back of the bus. No, I was here first. Rosa Parks said I paid the same amount as you. So if fear is fear and fear is fear, then I can sit here too. Now in present time, her freedom star spike has turned to pine. When we poison black people's thinking, we got freedom but we destroy lives. Double standards, same words, no rhyme. We rather just push and shove, teach hate, not love. Why not give back our freedom, brother? We are still in the back. We're still in the back. We're still in the back at the bus. Where we're from, and we don't have a place. Caucasians have America, Spanish have Spain, Orientals in Asia. I think you know what I'm saying. Now some black people of the Caribbean want no part of Africa. If you tell them come and let we go back home. They say, and to these youths don't understand. We all have to take a stand. Cause with the influence of different cultures, we turn to criminals and money vultures. And youth music reflects this crime with distasteful and filthy rhymes influencing young people's thinking. Hip hop, rap and dance hall makes we don't mother ball. And only guns we know in black movie show. We don't corrupt our kids with love no more. We're still in the back. We're still in the back. We're still in the back at the bus.
Louis Idle Jr.
So beware who invite you. They might be taking a chance. They built a beautiful mall and a pretty market. Well, tell me which one black people going get. Did you know Ku Klux Klan make millions from those pretty car fragrant squaws? And went on national TV and told us thanks black people you don't. Took her turn to say her clothes were not intended to be worn by us. And Timberland shoes making millions can lose from black people who they abuse. Now just to make a dime, it seems we've lost our flipping mind. Selling drugs to people we should hug. And standing in the A-line, a man use his last 2 dimes to get on boardwalk. The RC open chances pass them by. That's why Miss Rosa's star don't shine. We're still in the back. We're still in the back. We're still in the back at the bus. Hey, 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 hey. Carry guns on our way to defend ourselves from black race. We're in front in homicides. We're in front in assaults. We're in front in race genocide, raping kids and adults. We're in front in the race to have the most people locked up in jail. And we're leading the pack to have the least to come out or on bail. And if you don't think the system will, every time a black person fails, take a closer look, cause by hook or by crook they're finding money to build us more jails. Now I hope you see that it's time for us to get off our black behinds and do something to change young people's thinking. Give them knowledge, wisdom and pride before thoughts of destruction control their minds. Forget the guns and the drugs and the money, give them love. For God's sake, let's all help somehow, or we'll be still in the back. We'll be still in the back. We'll be still in the back at the bus. We'll be still in the back. We'll be still in the back. We'll be still in the back at the bus. We'll be still. We will be still. We don't want to be.
Yes, mentally, we are definitely still in the back of the bus as we are not taking the opportunity to let those politicians there in our beloved federation, and more so Queen City Nevis, that we're not going to take their nonsense anymore. We are thinking forward, we are thinking for the future of our islands and our people and our kids to come. So we have to do away with that backward thinking in the back of the bus. We have to come forward, think about the future of the islands and for our people. Remember, my good people, now, we're only passing through. No matter how many millions or billions you might get together, how much buildings or houses or cars you may have, when that time comes, you're leaving them. Just check where Van Samuel is right now. You think he's still in Nevis? You think Dwelling Bacha is still in St. Kitts? Is Sim Daniel still in Nevis? No matter how much money you have, whatever you have, you're leaving it. So just do right by the people and let's move on. Good evening, Sister Anne Farrell Smith. How are you doing? Sister Cora Bennett, Tracy Jeffers, Tracy Powell. How are you guys doing? Sister Rosita Pontine. How are you doing? Sister Joseph Buchanan Glassford. Are you on the door? Sister Ioni Mitchum. All is well. Well, don't forget, tomorrow evening you got the Tell Me program there with Brother Carlisle Powell, the man Kelvin Daly and Tulu. I hope that Tulu is doing much better. I understand he was under the weather last week, and I think there's something on Saturday they call the Pointer and Point with Kelvin Daly and Tulu as well. So look forward to those programs to sensitize the people. I want to big up my boy there, Brother Trust there at the A1 farm in Nevis. I hope you're doing well, my brother. Hope all is good with your sister Moffett Slack. How are you doing? The man Jeff Pemberton, the man Mikey Slack. How about the boy there, Miko? How are you doing, brother Miko? Everything good with you? Sister Bartlett, how are you doing? How are you getting along? Sister Janice, Daniel Hodge, hope all is well with you and the Hope Run there. And the Henry Daniel, the man Patrice Nisbet, you're missing in action as well. Need to get you across here to have a little chit chat with you. You're a scholar. Need to have that conversation. Brother Joseph Parry, hope all is well with you as well. Have to get you back here to have a chat at your earliest convenience. Well, it's that time of the evening where, you know, I'm going to have to make my exit. I'm running now almost 3 hours, not almost. I'm already 3 hours, that's an hour overtime. So we're going to drop our unofficial anthem here of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. This one is called Arise by the late great King Arrow. As I say, good night to you and look forward to seeing you next week, same place, same time, 6 p.m. Don't forget we have our bus ride coming up on the 29th of July to Foxwood, shopping and casino. Remember to get your tickets early, don't wait until it's too late. And we'll be heading across to St. Kitts Nevis on June 17th to July 1st. We'll be hosted there by the Police Sports Club and the St. Kitts Cricket Association. We also will be having a day across to Nevis to hopefully for some dominoes with the folks of Nevis there, have a good time with them. Got to visit my boy Cabo. So we're going to try to do everything, you know, and hope that everybody is safe and enjoy the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I will big up my boy, the brother Desmond Hicks in St. Croix, the mighty Pat and Korea. My sister Esther in Tortola, husband Makish and the kids, hope all is well. My brother there, brother Kent Bernier, Pamela Bernier, brother Cullen and Dylan Hodge. Thank you guys for your bravery there, saving 2 passengers there last weekend in the waterfront there, St. Thomas. Hope all is well. AG, just stay strong, my brother. I got you back. The man Carlos Maynard and Sister Joy Clark is in the New York tri-state area doing their due diligence, their work that they've been paid for. Welcome to the area, brother and sister. Hope all is well with you guys.
reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Would you assist building a wall so massive or a bridge? Don't care how small, as one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Displaying selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
sound of the late great the King Arrow. Yes, folks, many of you have reached out to me over the months asking me to stream my broadcast on YouTube, and I have listened to the call and I have taken the steps to do just that. So all my programs are now streamed on YouTube following this program this evening. This will also be uploaded on YouTube. Have some very powerful engineers and technicians working with me. In due course, you will know who they are, but they're doing a good job to keep things going. Just remember when you go on YouTube to subscribe and hit the bell and be a part of the ride, because in the not too distant future, we're going to transform the program over to YouTube. So to make sure that you don't miss out on anything, you have to start going across to YouTube, log into DJ Morrishaw, and just hit your subscribe button and hit that bell and sign up so that you don't miss out on this program, because at some point in time, we will have to make that transition. Good night, brother Elvin Ellie. I hope all is well there in the California area. Brother Ivor Henry, the man Alvin Brown. I also want to big up my uncle there, brother Joseph Emmanuel there in Garvey's Estate. Remember, folks, if you're looking someplace to have an event, check out Uncle Joseph. He has halls there for your weddings, birthdays, whatever you need. They got outside areas where you can take your pictures or outside events. You have rooms that you can rent. Short stay, long stay. Just check out Uncle Joseph Emmanuel. And he's very easy to find there now. All you have to do is go on YouTube, log on to DJ Morrishaw, and the information is there. But you can reach him at 668-1392. But if you're looking to get information, you log on to YouTube, and the Millhouse Guest House information is also on the DJ Morrishaw page. Also, my brother there in the Frigate Bay area, the man Jamrock Restaurant, Michael Clark. Just check out the Jamrock, and pretty soon you'll be having the information for Marshalls as well. And other folks are coming on board with their businesses that need to get advertised. Don't forget my cousin there, Gloria Hutchinson, Smart Fit, right there, Keon Street and 4th Street. Across from the gas station, and the new location is over there and, in the old Simaca building, Central Street next to the Skelec. Just tell Gloria DJ Morrishaw sent you, and continue to support. Want to big up my cousin there, the man Sugars. Craig, how you doing? The man Twinkie, Catherine, Weezy, Mole, how you guys doing there? Sister Leonard Hutchinson and crew. Hope all is well. The man Austin Williams, Sister Laura, hope all is well with you guys. The man Julian Pemberton celebrated a big birthday last weekend without me, but I hope that he's saving all my drinks and putting them up. The man Luther Kelly, they say he got the honorarium down there giving the ladies every week. So your ladies, remember, if you see Luther Kelly, just ask him for your honorarium, because he's the officer for that. Brother there, Curtis Crook, how you doing? The man EK, the man DJ Rabuka. The man, all right? How is your mom? Say hi to the family for me. The man Ronnie Rascal and crew. The man GQ, the man Tango. Crazy. How you guys doing? Sister Deli Keynes, the Basu. Sister Ann Basu, hope all is well with you guys. In the meantime and between time, it's 9:12, so we're way over time this evening. Look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday evening, same place, same time. Thanks again to my engineer, brother Ike, the man Elvin, Ellie, and crew. Thanks for all your support in these regards.